Hey there friends, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell, and this is a fun fold card project for my October template class. So today we're going to be doing the double skinny Z barn fold. That's a very long name, but it kind of explains it. It's a barn fold, so it opens out, and it's skinny Z because both sides are folded in like Z's, okay? And then we're going to have this focal point on the front. So I'm going to get right to it and we're going to start. If you received your templates in the mail, you've got your template with all the measurements on it. There's the cheat sheet on the back, and then you've also got your printed out template as well. Plus you have your practice kit that you're going to be building either after you watch me put this one together or while I'm doing mine, you can do yours. So whatever way you want to do it, it's totally up to you. Okay, so we're going to be using Mossy Meadow as our base. I'm using this piece of the All About Autumn DSP. I love all these colors in this print, so we're going to be using this to show that off, and then I'm going to use basic white as my neutral. So let's go ahead and get started on the project. Okay, so the base of this one is 5.5 by 11. So it's a little odd for us, but you're going to put your paper in the long way and cut it at 5.5. So 5.5 by 11. Now you have a bunch of score lines to do here. I'm going to open up my cutter so I can do them all. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So my scores say 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. Score, don't cut. I have to remind myself so I don't cut my paper. So 1 1/4 and then 3 3/8. So I'm just going to slide this down to 3 3/8. Now the instructions say to go to 7 5/8. So I can push this all the way down, go 7.5 and go 1/8. That's 7 5/8. Score again, and then it says 9 3/4. I go all the way down to 9 3/4 and score again. Now it also says that you could have done 1 1/4 and then the 3 3/8, and then you could have flipped it over and done 1 1/4 and 3 3/8. So whichever way your crafty brain works, you make it work for you. But in the end, both sides are going to fold in, and then the skinny sections are going to fold back. Okay, and we'll do those with our bone folder in a moment, but that's basically how those score lines work. Okay, so you're going to end up like that. Okay. Now, we need our DSP panels. So I need 5 1/4 inches, but I also need, I want to use a strip for the belly band, so we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to cut off the belly band, which is 1 inch. The DSP is 3/4 of an inch. So first thing I'm going to do is cut off 3/4 of an inch, because I want to try to use that in my belly band. So we're going to reserve that piece for a minute. Okay, so I cut off 3/4 of an inch, so this should now be 5 1/4, and it is. And that's what all of our pieces going up and down on our card need to be, is 5 1/4. So now I need the pieces to go in here. So the first one is 1 3/4. So 1 3/4. I'm going to put that all the way over here. Then I need 1 inch, just right there. Then I need another inch, which is right here. And then I need another one at 1 3/4. Now you noticed I went from left to right, and I'm going to keep them in that order so that when I put them on my card, my picture will kind of be consistent. And then I just have this little tiny 1/2 inch piece left, so we'll see if we use that or not. Okay, so I'll put those up there so they're lined up for me. Okay, the next thing we need to cut is our inside panel. We need 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just using my basic plate. So it says again 4 by 5 1/4, so 4. And I'm going to turn it and go 5 1/4. That's going to be my inside section. And then we need the belly band. So on the instructions and on the templates, my belly band says DSP 3/4 by 10. But remember I saved this 3/4 by 6. And what I'm hoping is that I can stretch it enough to come in. If I'm really lucky, maybe I can do that. If not, I'll have to use the second piece. So we'll see. Okay, and then I need 1 by 10 in my cardstock. So I'm going to go back to my original, and I'm going to do 1 inch, and then I'll trim it down to 10 inches. So first I need 1 inch, then I need 10 inches. Okay, so that's going to be the belly band section. So we'll do that in a moment and see how this works out for me as far as that 6-inch piece. So normally I would tell you to cut it out at 12 by 12, and that's where you end up with being able to do 10 inches of DSP. But we're going to experiment and see if we can do it with a 6-inch piece. Okay, so I also have a focal or die cut, and I have already done that with my stylish shaped die. So I have a piece pre-die cut. So you can decide whether you want to use an image or if you want to stamp a sentiment. Today I'm going to stamp a sentiment, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and put the project together. So go back to your base and do the creasing with your bone folder. Let's give these all a nice crease, and then we'll start laying down our papers. Okay, so I'm going to put the center in first. Now if you want to stamp your center before you apply it, you can totally do that. Sometimes I even have stampers who have the centerpiece cut and they store it with a card, but they don't adhere it until after they've stamped the sentiment, just in case they smudge and they want to do it over again. But the panel is ready for them. So there's my inside. And now we're going to apply our trees. So let me bring these down. These two are for the left and these two are for the right. So we're just going to start putting these on. Oh, and I like the back of this too. If you wanted to do the back side, which is this foil print, this happens to coordinate with the green quite well. So I'm just lining this up and just frame it in on that section of card. Now we're going to turn this back. I'm going to add the next panel of DSP is just going on this skinny section of the Z. Okay, and then I'm going to do the next skinny section because it's just working right over the card. And then we have one more section. Now, I've put DSP panels on all 4 of these. If you didn't want to use that much DSP, you could just put them on the 2 front skinny sections. You could just put them on the 2 wide sections. You could mix and match them. It's your card, like I always say, so you can make it your way. This is just the way I'm showing it today. Okay, so there's the card. Now, you could skip the belly band if you wanted to do it just like this, right? You could put your sentiment right on there, and it'd be fine. But we're going to try the belly band today. It's just a little extra element. Okay, so the belly band normally would wrap around our card, right? And it comes back to the front. It overlaps a little bit. We need a little bit of space in there for it to slide up and down okay. So just give it a test. Slides up and down okay. So we can adhere this just by putting a little bit of adhesive in here and press this down. Okay, now it looks like I didn't cut mine perfectly straight, but it's not going to matter. You're not going to see it behind my focal image that's going to go on. Just a minute. So now I've got this piece of 6" by 3/4, right? So obviously I don't want to do it like this because then the back will be nude. So we're going to start in the back and we're going to come around to the front and I don't know, we'll see. So if I brought that one in and I brought this one in, the question is, does my big circle cover enough to not be noticeable? It it's just gonna make it. So you could cheat and use a 6-inch piece if you really wanted to. I'm gonna go ahead and do it, but I think I'm gonna turn it over and use the green side. Let's see how that looks. If I flip it over and use the green side, I think I like that, just for a little bit of, you know, difference. Okay, so here we go. So I kind of have that where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to come back here and I'm going to put some adhesive right in the middle. I'm going to place this down. Okay, you want to try to have even tabs on the ends. And then I flip this over and I'm just going to add adhesive right there, not too much. Push that down. And then turn it over and do the other side. Press that down. Now you could even wrap this with ribbon if you wanted to. So you could dress that up as much as you want to. Okay, so let's put our sentiment on. So for this card, I'm using a new set to me, Kindest Expressions. And I'm going to do Oh Happy Day on the front. So I've got my pumpkin pie ink. So I wanted something bright and cheery, but fall color. So I'm going to stamp my Oh Happy Day right in the center. Try really hard not to rock and roll it. Okay, I have that. So there's my Oh Happy Day. So that's going to go on there. Now I could put that on dimensionals, but because I went in really close with that, I'm just going to adhere it down. So I'm just going to put adhesive behind here, and we're just going to press this down in place. Okay, now be careful not to smudge your ink. Mine's probably not exactly dry yet, so I'm being careful not to touch my ink. Okay, and then I'm going to slide this off, and I'm going to use Sending Sunshine and Rainbows on the inside. Now this is a large stamp, so I have it on a larger block. I'm going to open up my card. I'm actually going to ink it this way. Sometimes larger stamps it's easier to ink by pressing the ink to the stamp. And you can see I've got ink on my edge. So I've just got a chamois here, and I'm just going to clean up my edge a little bit. Hopefully it will keep me from getting a smudge on my cardstock. Okay, give it a go. I'll give it a little huff. Just reactivate that ink. It's probably wet enough, but always better to do that. And then I'm just going to put this right in the middle, press in the middle. Here we go. Yay, no smudges. Okay, so there's my inside. It's going to close. I'm going to put my belly band on. Now, I've got this little tiny piece of paper, right? And you know me, I hate throwing away scrap paper. So, as an added little inside, yep, I'm just going to put that there. So I'm just going to snip it with my paper snips. If you wanted to just do it on your trimmer, you could certainly do it on your trimmer. But I'm just going to add this little bit of foil paper to the bottom. It's just a little inside embellishment. If you have it, you might as well use it. Okay, so there's the inside. Slip our belly band on. If my fingers want to cooperate, there we go. Slide the belly band on, and there is our Oh Happy Day card. So I hope you guys like this one. I hope it made sense. Your template and practice kits will have the 11 or the 10-inch belly band, so you don't have to worry about trying that, but you know, it can be done. So, you know, if you want to remake these with 6x6 paper, you certainly can do that. I used one piece of 6x6 paper to do all the elements of DSP on that card. So, there you go. Alright guys, leave me comments here or email back with your template emails. Let me know that you received them, you're enjoying them. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if you want to sign up for my Fun Fold class if you haven't done so yet. The links are all below so that you can sign up and get started creating your own template collection and practicing making them too. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me today. If you need any help placing orders or have questions about projects, don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to assist you. And I'll stamp again with you real soon. Bye-bye.